Sucio Talk. Sucio Talk. Here we are live every lunes, every Monday live. As you can tell, I'm a little under the weather. But here we are. So Sucio Talk live every Monday at 10 p.m. Chilling out here on the internet. The web. Do we call it the web anymore? I don't fucking know. How you guys doing? How's your week been? Hope you guys been good. Hope you guys been enjoying your life. I know I've been enjoying mine. Okay? Alice Kim, what up? Chef Stefan, how you doing, man? I remember that meal I had just had at your restaurant a few months ago now. God damn. My timing's all off. I'm out here in the motherfucking desert, Palm Springs. So the timing's a little off. Time just changed. The hour just switched. Happens at like 2 a.m. apparently. It turns to 2 a.m., goes to 3, and it just, or I think it's 1 to 2, and then it goes to 3. I don't know. Some weird shit's going down. I don't understand how we can control the time like that, daylight savings time, but we can't control the weather. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Yeah, I've been smoking with John. I'm up here smoking with John. I had him on the episode last week of the podcast. He invented the sports bar. So what up to John Morris for inventing the sports bar, something that you guys have all done. Chef Stefan, you started in the desert. Did you start in Palm Springs, Chef Stefan? I'm wondering. Oh, you did. You saw the episode. Hello, Camille. Welcome to the live broadcast. Yeah, there you go. So Palm Springs. So were you born and raised there, Chef? Chef, call into the show. Bro, what are you doing? 510. Hold up. Here we go. I'm going to give you the number right here. 510-463-1145. I'm typing it in. Boom, right there. You could call into the show. You'll be on the podcast, and we'll talk about it. I can't be typing here and shit. And by the way, when this happens, guys on Instagram, you're going to have to go over to YouTube because I got no way for you to hear the sound. But yeah, I was just talking to Chef Stefan because I'm chilling in Palm Springs, and I went up to enjoy his restaurant up in Petaluma. Petaluma, an up-and-coming food destination out here in California. I always like Petaluma. Young vibes out there. Good bars and clubs and all that. So podcast every Monday, 510-463-1145. I think I should say it slower because people don't get it. 510-463-1145. Call in the Sucio Talk. You can be like, yo, Mom, I was on a podcast. You know how important I feel right now? Who knows? I had a chef gig coming up, or I thought I did, and rug pulled out from under me. Didn't get the job, you know. I was thinking they got somebody better, but I know there wasn't anybody better. You know what I mean? But, you know, everything happens for a reason, so you got to follow Jesucristo, and he will put you on the right path of what you got to do. So didn't get that. Moving on with the hunt for something correct, you know. Ambitious executive chef position should be the title that the job that I apply for reads. But let's see. Let's see what happens. I have to turn the volume down here on my microphone or my headphones. It's pretty loud. I'm like making myself deaf over here in the desert where it's dry. If you guys haven't lived in the desert, let me tell you something about the desert. It's dry as fuck out here. Okay? You gotta have chapstick, humidifiers, lotion. Don't forget. You always gotta put that shit on yourself because you're out here, you're ashy. It's fucking dry. There's dust everywhere. Dust is just flowing. Just goes everywhere. It's in your water and shit. And so it's kind of a weird place. You look out into the horizon though, and like the way the mountains are out here, it's beautiful. Beautiful place. So I'm grateful to be out here doing this personal chef shit. But as I said, personal chefing is really repetitive because think about your life. You probably, oh, here we go. Here we go. Hold on. I just got a voicemail here. My Chef Boost Mobile.
Call from
Yo.
Bruce Double D Mac Ray.
Okay.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Yo.
My chef, how you doing, baby?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm blessed, man. I see you on the pod. I had to call in and just state, some of the best meals I've ever had in my life. Me and Barbie you were our chef, man. You were our chef.
Oh, man, I appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. That means a lot.
Wanted to call in and just say you are the real deal. I follow you. I love you, man. You just you're it, man. You say it the way it is, and it's I miss you, and I'm gonna see you soon, I hope.
Yeah, for sure, man. Come on down to the desert, get fed. I'm down. Thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that. A lot of these guys don't know out here, but I'm out here doing the thing.
People don't. They see you on your pods. They see you on Instagram. They don't realize that you are one of the greats, boy. You are one of the greats.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Much love to you and your family and everything like that. I hope you guys are good. But yeah, come see me down here. Hey, next time I'm in Long Beach, I'll hit you up and I'll come over and cook you a meal.
You call me chef. All right, baby. I love you, boy.
Yeah,
Take
man.
care.
You have a good day.
All right. Peace.
All right, peace. There we go. Got a call from Go UPS Man. Works for UPS. Very passionate about that. You got to love a working man, you know? Cocinero de Cocina up at Copas in San Francisco. What's up to you? Shout out to you and your restaurant. Colleen Booth, shout out to you. Automat was your restaurant. We still got to do that woman's panel out here at Sucio Talk. Taking this shit worldwide. That's a commercial for Sucio Talk. Also, I'm not sure if you guys been paying attention out there, but I got them reels, son. You don't know about that. Them reels. I figured it out. You see? So, unfortunately, that's what you got to spend time doing nowadays to get people to come to your business. Shit like that. So, look, I had a conversation the other day with one of my chef friends, and we're talking about the chef podcast world and how large of a community it already is and how much bigger it will become. I'm not saying that the old guard of food media is going away. We will always have food and wine. We will always have all of these great things. But I think it's not new, I guess. I think there's a new way to deliver the message within this day and age. Okay? It's raw, it's real. Nobody's telling you you can't say that. If you don't look too good on camera, it doesn't mean that you don't shine in your own artistry, right? Some of the greatest chefs I've ever met are weird as fuck, you know? And it's sad that they can't have their hot day in the sun, you know? So I figure I'll be the sun and we'll showcase all these people. The reason I'm talking like this, I think I got RSV, some type of respiratory syndrome, system, disease. I was down. I'm still congested. You could probably hear that. But feeling better. So, talking about the chef podcast world, I think there's a great benefit to what is happening and the movement that's taking place right now. If you're not opening your eyes to what is going on out there within the food podcast world, it's okay. At some point, you will understand what it is. And one day it'll get to the point where if you write a cookbook, if you are doing cool things within the culinary arts industry, chef, front of the house, back of the house, whatever you want to call it, everything, all encompassing. We will showcase the stories. We'll have fun while doing it. And I think sometimes there's a lot of politics when it comes to primetime television, right? I'm not saying that I want to do this to break all the rules. I'm just saying that I want to do this so if the rules are broken, it's not a big deal. Chef John Paul, never heard Full Comp, but I'll check it out. Counter Talk is good. Kimchi Kids podcast is good. Chef's PSA is one of my favorite podcasts. My boy Andre Natera, he does it. So yeah, Kimchi Kids, Chef's PSA, Full Comp I'll check out. Elijah Attard out in Australia has Roots Hospitality podcast. There's another podcast I just stumbled on that I can't remember the name of, but it's a group of Australian Polynesian dudes talking about Polynesian shit and what it is to be in Australia. It's fucking dope. Any restaurants out there that got hit by the SVB bank closure? So sorry you have to go through that. It's rough. Oh shit. Hold on. Getting a call. Here we go.
Call from
Stefan. Chef Stefan.
to accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Stefan, what up?
Hey, Chef. How are you?
Chef, how are you doing, man?
I'm well. How are you?
Amazing. I'm good. I'm down in Palm Springs. So, how you doing, man? How's the restaurant? How's everything going?
I'm good. Everything's well, man. You know, I was tucking in the young bull in bed.
Oh,
when
yeah?
I jumped into live.
Yeah, that's awesome,
Give me
bro.
a second. But everything is great, man. Everything is proper.
Yeah.
No complaint. Yeah. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm down here in Palm Springs. So you were born here?
No. So I was actually born in New York.
Okay, born in New York.
Born in New York, raised in Haiti.
Oh shit. Okay. What when were you born in New York? What year?
86.
86. Okay, gotcha. And when did you move back down to Haiti?
86.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So they had you and they were like, "We're getting the fuck up out of here, son. We can't."
Yeah,
Got it.
Pretty much.
And then did you spend your whole childhood in Haiti?
Yeah. All the way till I was like 17, and then I moved to California, Marin County, to be more specific,
Right.
in '03.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I did my senior high school year in San Anselmo at Sir Francis Drake. And then after that, and then right after high school, I went straight into a culinary school at the CCA, the California Culinary Academy
Oh,
in San
got it.
Francisco.
Oh,
You know, when they
shit.
were doing the Le Cordon Bleu program
Mm-hmm.
down there.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, man, and I ended up in Palm Springs, which is a crazy fucking story.
Yeah.
But, but yeah, man, that's the path.
I see you, man. So so crazy story. What do you got for me? What brought you down to Palm Springs?
Oh, so I'll go to the CCA. So it's a 12 months program, and then I had a 3 months internship. And so, you know, the biggest chef I've ever spoke on the phone with in my entire career, or one of the biggest, I must say, was Alain Ducasse.
Right.
And then so that's when Alain Ducasse had Jules Verne in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I went to the CCA, so I had to go do a stage on my last 3 months. So, you know, I knew that I could go to Paris. You know, talking to the executive chef of the school, I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm from Haiti. I speak French. I meet all the criteria to go to Paris, and you know, 4.0 GPA and all the shebang. And then he's like, oh yeah, yeah, okay, bet. You know, like, you know, trying to set it up. You know, call them and set up the internship. So which I did. You know, about maybe 6 months prior. And then, but again, you know, I'm like 19 years old. You know, I'm still trying to figure things out. I don't know exactly how things work. So I call, you know, I found a restaurant in Paris, Jules Verne, which is at the Eiffel Tower at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna try to work there. So then, you know, so I jump on the line and I speak to Chef Ducasse at the time. And he's like, yeah, you know, everything is good, man. Just send me all your documents and stuff like that. You know, make sure you meet the school criteria, and then we'll get you in. So I'm like, okay, bet. So maybe about a month before my internship comes up, so I go back, you know, to speak to the executive chef of the school, and then I'm like, hey, you know, so I spoke to the chef a couple months ago. He said, you know, everything's all lined up. I got my 4.0 GPA. I speak French. I got money saved, you know, so I'm like, I'm ready to go. And so, and he goes and he's like, oh, wow, you spoke to Alain Ducasse? Well, you know, guess what? This is a great friend of mine. And so he's like, yeah, why don't you give me your documents? And I'm flying to Paris next week. Actually, I'm going to see him, you know, and I'll just, you know, hand him your file. And so I'm like, okay, great, you know. So I give him the everything, and so and then my dumbass, of course, at the time, you know, being young, you know, I never really follow up, you know. So chef comes back, you know, maybe about 2 3 weeks. So mind you, now I have about a week to set up, and then so I go see the chef, and I'm like, yo, okay, is everything proper and stuff like that? He's like, yeah, yeah, you're all set up, you know, everything should be all good, you know, just get your stuff ready, and then, you know, head out.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, bet. So, and I'll never remember that, David. So it's not,
Yeah.
it was a Thursday night, you know, California time. It's Friday in Paris. I call, I'm sitting on this, like, you know, little bum Apple computer.
Right.
I'm getting ready to purchase my ticket, you know, and my auntie's passing by, and I'm like, yeah, auntie, you know, so I'm getting ready to, you know, get the ticket. And she's like, well, you know, did you ever get a letter of confirmation and blah, blah. And she's like, yo, before you do that, you know, I would advise you to call back the restaurant, make sure everything is set. And then so I'm like, okay, great. So I say, I'll do that, you know. So I call back, and then again, and I get to talk to Chef Ducasse at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, hey, chef, you know, this is Stefan, blah, blah, you know, and I'm trying, you know, we spoke about a couple months ago. And then I spoke to, like, Chef Hervé, and he said that he was going to come in and see you and bring out the document. And he's like, oh, yeah, 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 you know, I know Hervé and stuff like that. And yeah, like, I saw him about, you know, a week or two ago, but he didn't give me any documents. And I'm like, oh, what? I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of weird. And then, so mind you, so this is Thursday night. Friday is the last day that you had to submit the last document, like, you know, to basically, you know, to stamp, you know, the stage documents or whatever.
Right.
And then, so I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, well, you know, I'm getting ready to buy my plane ticket. And he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He's like, no, 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 I'm buying a plane ticket because I don't have your documents. And I don't even have a space right now for you to do a stage.
What?
And so I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what? I'm like, well, you know, he told me. He's like, yeah, I'm not sure he told you. I saw him, but I never got any documents. So there's not much I can do for you. And so I wouldn't advise you to get on a plane ticket because even if you do, you get here, I'm not going to have a stage for you.
Right.
And then so I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, okay, well, so so I'm like, so here I am. I'm all trapped, and then so I'm like, damn, bro, I have to like submit, my last document tomorrow by noon for the school. And then so I'm like, well, my auntie's like, well, I guess, you staying home. So look for a place here, and she's like, and I don't know, I had this thing for like French cuisine at the time and stuff like that.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, well, fuck. Like, well, I'm not trying to stay here in the city. And so, so I opened the internship book or whatever, and then I found a chef, George Rapricolt,
Mm-hmm.
and he was the executive chef at the Lodge at Rancho Mirage,
Okay.
which used to be the Ritz Carlton way back before that.
Right.
And then so then I hit up the chef and I'm like, hey chef, I'm kind of like, and that's next morning, right? Friday morning. I'm like, hey chef, I got a couple hours. I got to send my stage. I'm looking for a place to come and do an internship or whatever. And then he's like, yeah, he's like, okay, it's all good, man. I got space for you. So if you want to come, when do you want to start? And I'm like, well, my stage should be starting on Monday. And he's like, well, can you get on the plane and come down and meet and stuff like that and kick that off on Monday or maybe on Tuesday? And then so I'm like, yeah, sure. So again, I had the money secured. So instead of going to France, get a
Right.
plane ticket, go to Palm Springs, go to the lodge. Saturday I touched down on Saturday actually. And then so I pull up and he's like, okay, well, all right, great, this is the hotel and blah blah blah. So, kind of like gave me the little rundown, shows me the different section of the kitchen, banquet, fine dining and stuff like that, room service and stuff like that. And then so I'm like, okay, well, yeah. I'm like, yo, whatever you got, man. At
Yeah.
this point, I'll take it. I'm so desperate. And so he's like, okay, well, we'll put you, on the fine dining line and stuff. And I was like, okay. So mind you, I get down there unprepared, so I have no space to stay, no nothing. And then so I'm like, well, chef, I got a little problem. I don't really have a space to stay. This is the last
Oh my
minute.
God,
And
dude.
I know, right? And then the chef, but very cool guy, man. He's like, oh, okay. He's like, well, let me talk to the hotel and see if maybe I can get you a room and stuff like that. And then maybe you can spend a couple nights in one of the rooms. And then, and then in the meantime, we'll try to find you a solution.
Right.
And then so I'm like, oh, fuck, bro. I'm like, yo, thanks, man. Real appreciate the chef and stuff like that. And then so anyway, so they got me a room. And then the following like Monday, come up and they're like, okay, well, we're gonna need the room and blah blah. And then so that's when there was like 14 students that were in the exchange program. 12 of them were from Brazil,
Right.
2 of them was from Argentina, and they were all living in this house in Palm Springs.
Right.
And then he's like, well, these all these kids here, exchange students, they're staying here. Maybe you can talk to them. Maybe they'll find you a room. Maybe they'll give you a couch, a place to crash and
Right.
and see what's up. And I'm like, okay, shit, sweet, yeah, So I meet the students and whatever, good vibe, Brazilian. So Haitian and Brazilian have a thing, like especially in soccer.
Right.
I always say that there's 2 types of Haitians. There's Argentinians, there's Brazilians. That's how you can put,
Okay.
because they're so deep, behind, the Brazilian soccer and the Argentinian soccer team.
Right.
And then so of course, I'm a Brazilian, when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I got 12 Brazilians, so so we all, of course, good vibe, first meet and stuff like that.
Right.
And then we get down, and then here I am, bro. I'm in this house with 14 crazy South American motherfuckers. Man.
That's fucking
and
awesome.
all these guys do, bro, is like party and show up to work, a hangover, drunk. Whichever did his little he does his little
Right.
it's like
Yeah.
wild life, And so yeah, man. And then so I get in the kitchen on Tuesday, so I meet with Garde Manger, and mind you, this is my first kitchen job, right
Right.
after culinary school.
Yeah.
So I'm working Garde Manger with this young lady, Sarah, Latina lady. And then she's like, yeah, this is good and blah, blah, So I'm making classics, like lobster bisque, Caesar salad,
Right.
creme brulee, garde manger or whatever. Garde manger kind of like, goes with pastry and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Of course, like I didn't make the lobster bisque. Sous chef always made the lobster bisque, but it's just like the little finishing touches,
Mm-hmm.
big balls, lobster bisque, creme fraiche, and things like
Right.
that. And so Tuesday, I bang it. Okay, cool. So then I show up to work on Wednesday, and I show up to work on Wednesday, and then of course I come to work at 2:00, and then guess who's not coming to work today? is fucking Sarah. It's like, yo, Sarah's not showing up tonight.
Yeah.
So chef is like, yo, I hope you took note last night because government station is all you tonight, man. And then I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, all right. So there's like two sous chefs, and they're all looking at me, and they're like, yo, are you sure you're ready for this, man? And I'm like,
Yeah.
man, fuck it, let's go for it. I mean, how bad can it get, right? I'm like, well, let's go for it, man. And then so yeah, man. And then so I did my first service in gunmanship by myself, man, on a Wednesday night. I don't remember exactly how many covers, but it was a hotel, so it was pretty busy, fairly busy.
Right.
And and fuck, I rocked my
You
service.
held it together?
And then, oh, I hold it together, man. And then one of the sous chefs came, and he's like, yo, he's like, are you for real? Is this your first time ever working the line? I'm like, yeah, chef. He's like, yeah, you fucking with me? I'm like, nah, bro. I'm like, I'm 19 years old, man. Like,
Yeah.
I just graduated from high school. I'm from Haiti. Here's the docs. And he's like, man. He's like, bro, let me tell you something. I've never said that to anybody, but he's like, if this your first day, man, you were meant to be.
Right.
And he's like, and that was it, man. After that, that was the one sentence of like word of encouragement, man, and I never looked back, bro. And and then so yeah, man. So I did my stage on there for about 3 months to 4 months. Went through the little struggles, the trial, the little crazy time.
Right.
Students left, all those Brazilian, Argentinian exchange students ended up leaving. And then I met, so then I became good friend with the room service manager. And then my man's had a house an apartment in Palm Desert.
Mm-hmm.
So which is like, not too far away, from Palm Springs or whatever. So, kind of like, little hood, the hood side of the desert, kind of wild. Yeah. But again, bro, like, I'll tell you the one thing that made me survive that place, man, is the fact that I was a young Haitian that spoke French with dreadlocks, and I didn't know shit about shit. I didn't know what the fuck was Crip. I didn't know what the fuck was blood. I didn't know anything between Hispanic versus black, because that was like a big thing, and that's like 05.
Right.
04, 05. That was a big thing back then. And yeah, man, I did my little 4 months stage down there. On my last couple weeks, chef offered me a job to kind of like stay, and I was like, oh yeah, I bet, I'll stay.
Yeah.
And then I stayed for another 7-8 months, and then the hotel ended up closing down for remodeling, and then so they were trying to like dispatch, all their workers into like different spots, until the hotel come back. And at this point too, man, like I saw so many like crazy nonsense, that I can't even speak on, you know what I mean?
Right.
I was like, man, you know what, bro? Like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So I'm out of here, man. And I took a first like 6 a.m. flight to back to Northern California. Spent about 2-3 days here, and then I jet down to Miami, and then there you go. And that was another story of its own, and and then kept going from there. And so, but yeah, man. But that's my little story with Palm Springs, kind of like wilding in the desert down there.
Yeah, man. It's kind of there's some weird energy down here, man.
Yeah,
man. It's like
yeah,
it's a very powerful place.
It is.
But
it is.
That's cool, man. So how long you been in operation now, your restaurant?
So restaurant, as far as the restaurant itself, we're in our second year of the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
But then we started in August 2020. The company was founded, and like CCP was founded in August 2020.
Right.
Right during the pandemic. And so so I was doing the pop-up ghost kitchen type of concept. I was running, well, not running, but I was doing this little pop-up, this little joint here in town of Petaluma.
Mm-hmm.
But by then too, I was kind of like I think I was fairly established, in Petaluma, just because of like some other, top places in Petaluma, like Della Fattoria,
right.
A bakery, and they were doing their, they were doing the food. Also, it was a cafe and bakery. And then when I moved, so when I took over this gig, I moved. That's when I just moved from Copenhagen, and then so I came back to like help them expand, because at this point, me and the family kind of knew each other, and it was a good friend. So I came back and did that. So by the time I did Della Fattoria, I did another little spot called the Shuckery, which is at the Hotel Petaluma. It's like an oyster bar over there. And then so, I think by then I kind of like made a little name for myself. A lot of people kind of knew, but really, really off the back of Della, because Della was really, really well known. Kathleen Weber at the time, rest in peace. Everybody kind of like knew who she was in town.
Mm-hmm.
She's like one of the goats of sourdough bread,
Exactly.
in Northern California, and so. Yeah, man, and then so she kind of like was giving me a little buzz through town, and so people kind of knew the name, and it's when I decided to do my own thing, and so 2020 I decided to launch the pop up, through the pandemic, just kind of like little half calculated business move,
Right.
and skills, at the time. I don't know if you remember back then what was really popping around like September, August of like 2020 was like, how the big corporation like the McDonald's, Applebee's, KFC, they were all kind of like booming and stuff like that, and the mom
Yeah.
and pop shop were the one taking the hit. And
Exactly.
then so I was like, oh, okay, well, we're in Petaluma, town known for like butter, eggs. You have what's that, Central Milling, that's up here. Where like a lot of like the best bakers in the world. They come here and
Right.
train for like the World Cup bakery. For World Cup, bread making. And then so I'm like, yo, bro. So me and my business partner and one of my best friends, Steven,
Right.
and then so we're chopping it up, and I'm like, yo, bro. I'm like, all right, man. If everybody's talking about KFC, I'm like, yo, what if we just feed them a little fucking fried chicken dinner, man,
Right.
and French hip hop, at the
Yeah.
spot. And then yeah, man, and then so I did my first little series of pop up, doing that, sold out in 2 days. Took that money. I had no money, so we took that money and then flipped it into another pop up, and
Yeah.
into another pop up, and in the spot where we're doing that, those guys were kind of like, they had a foot out, they're trying to get their way out, and it's like, man, it's like, yo, you guys seems to be pretty motivated, man. You guys want to take over this?
Right.
And I'm like, oh shit, you're not trying to fuck with this? Like, nah, I'm kind of like done. I'm like, oh what? I'm like, all right, can we just like, you have to go to all the health department thing and all that and blah blah. And I'm like, man, nobody trying to do all that. And I'm like, yo, so guess what? Like, we'll just run our company under your company's name, your company's facility as a
Right.
pop up, and then let me just do my thing there. And the next thing you know, so like we started adding more nights. We had an outdoor patio. We started doing brunch. SF Chronicle picked us up on brunch, top 25 brunch in the Bay Area.
Right.
I was like, oh shit, okay.
Fuck yeah.
And yeah, man, and the rest is history, man. We met another good friend of mine up to this point. That's, he's a great friend now, but, that was a money guy. He was like, yo, bro, he's like, man, we had just met, he's like, man, I have enough to bless others. He's like, that'd be cruel for me to see how much you guys are grinding through a pandemic and doing things differently when everybody's complaining and kind of like, and you guys want to pop up, for me to have this chunk of money sitting here and not investing in you guys,
Right.
And he's like, yo, so what's the plan? And I'm like, well, bro, that's another crazy story. Like even before the pop up, and I'll be brief on that, is that when the pandemic first hit,
Uh-huh.
and then the restaurants went down, my family, my wife and son, who was about 2 years old at the time, flew to Poland because my wife is Polish,
Uh-huh.
and then so they flew to Poland to go visit her
And
family,
got
and then
stuck
so
there?
a day before they're getting back, bro, they fucking shut down the border,
My
and they got
goodness.
stuck in Poland, and then so, but there's always a good thing, right? I'm like, well, you got your mom,
Yeah.
I always want my son to kind of pick up on his like language and the cultures and stuff like that,
Yeah,
where he's
yeah.
really from. I'm like, oh, it's all good, we start with Poland and we'll merge into Haiti and then see how that thing is. And then so yeah, so they got stuck, man, and I'm like, okay, well, at the time also, and still now, the dollar was definitely dominating,
Uh-huh.
the slotting over there. And then so, I'm like, all right, well, you gotta stay put, I'm just trying to figure things out. You ain't gotta worry about food or place to live, so so then, stimulus checks are coming in, unemployment checks are coming in. And so but at that time, again, man, I just ever since the pandemic hit, bro, like for me, I was like, man, listen, man, we're cooks at the end of the day.
Right.
We're here to feed people, you know what I
Right.
mean? I'm like, yo, happy belly, happy mind. So I'm like, yo, so for me personally, I'm like, I get it and I see everything that's going on and I'm very sensitive about it because a lot of people had lost their family and stuff.
Right.
But I'm like, but there's another side of things, I'm like, yo, someone got to keep things rolling,
Right, right.
And
Somebody gotta do
so,
something,
and
yeah.
so, yeah, I got to do something, and that was my mentality, at the time. And so I was like, okay, so I was at the shuckery spot. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, so I told my boss at the time, like, girl, you know what? Like, yo, why don't you just, don't pay me, I'll take the unemployment check, don't pay me, trying to figure it out, your business and stuff like that. At the time, I had a young team, that was very loyal to me and that was following me pretty hard. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yo, guys, and then that's, where one of my business partner, Steven, was also part of that team. And I'm like, yo, listen, man, I'm like, this is a time for us to maybe get better at something else, like in the food industry. I'm like, yeah,
Right.
we all know how to cook, but y'all motherfuckers don't know how to bake. You don't know how to do this, you don't know how to do that. I'm like, yo, so then maybe we use this opportunity, to kind of like, leverage things and then see how we can get better at certain things. Because eventually things are going to reopen. We just don't know when, but we know eventually things has to reopen.
Uh-huh.
And then so then, so she's like, okay, well, I appreciate that or whatever. So everybody kind of like, it's like, yeah, don't pay us, we'll just keep getting our, little unemployment checks and stuff like that. But me and Steven, so so I kept stacking up on this stimulus and the unemployment, right? I ain't got no family to live to feed. All I got to do
Right.
is pay rent. I could eat at the restaurant. We're still doing like all the CSA box, the dinner this, the dinner that, and so I had all this money. So bro, so I invested in Tesla shares.
Right.
I put money in Tesla stocks, and then so I invested, and me and Steven, we invested the last little chunk of money. That's in like February, March
Right.
2020 in Tesla while it was down. And by August, bro, Tesla was like 7 times more than what it was.
Right.
And then so when the idea came up, so the idea came up, I was like, oh, bro, I'm like, yo, there's all this money now sitting. I'm like, yo, what if we went and got a trailer with a commercial kitchen in it?
Mm-hmm.
Because also remember, bars were closed at some point, right? You could only reopen a bar if you could only open your bar
If you
and
had
sell
food.
alcohol if you had food.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I was like, Clang, I'm like, bro, if we get a trailer, if we get a little food truck or something like that, maybe we can just partner with these bars around town that doesn't have a kitchen,
Yeah.
and they can open their joint, and we'll just be in the back, selling some food, and then maybe that's how we'll build the business. And then so it's like, okay, great, so that's a great idea. So we go in, we cash out on the Tesla, to go and buy a food truck, and then so we look at the first food truck, and then that shit was like, of course, like trash at its best, right? 60K for 1992 Chevy engine remake. I mean, rusty as fuck. I'm like, I don't know if I'm trying to do that, right?
Right.
And then so finally, I found a spot in Sacramento that were building commercial kitchen trailers.
Okay.
So so I hit those guys up, and I'm like, yo, can you guys, can we jump online? And it's like, well, it's about a 3 months wait. And I'm like, okay, so what do we have to do? It's like, okay, well, you put your down deposit. We'll put you, in touch with a bank, and maybe they'll try to finance you guys, and then, get these paperwork all straightened out, and then, we'll get the trailer rolling for you, to California laws and stuff and regulations and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. And I'm like, okay, so anyway, so the trailer goes into production. So we're like, okay, well, so now we invested all that little loop of money that we had into the trailer. So now we're in business. We come up with we got TCP, we're getting rolling or whatever. And I'm like, all right, bro. So while this thing is, in built, we need to start, finding a way to get funds for the business.
Mm-hmm.
And and that's how we started doing the pop-ups. And then the next thing you know,
Oh.
like I said, so come back to the pop-up thing. So we're doing fried chicken. That was the first thing. And then, we kept going or whatever. And then we started doing the brunch. And the next thing you know, bro, I like outgrew the trailer. So now by the time the trailer was ready, I got like a full-on operational restaurant, doing to go. And it's every now and then when they lift the outdoor dining thing, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yep.
Like then we would like bust out, you know what I mean? A crazy ass brunch or a crazy ass dinner.
Right.
And so, and mind you, bro, meanwhile the trailer's been built. So we're over here and we're booming. And then the Tesla story kind of got out. Next thing you know, like ABC is hitting us up. We got all these different little channels calling us up. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, okay, all right. I guess we're kind of like building this little beast right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then yeah, man. And then by the time the trailer got ready, I'm like, so me and Steven, we're looking at each other, we're like, oh fuck, bro, what do we do with this fucking big ass piece of equipment? Because now we don't even need it. Like we don't even need it. So we're like, all right. So we took it, we parked it in the backyard, of the restaurant,
Uh,
and then we kind of like used it as a little front of the house station. And then like we would kind of like do these little kind of like little occasional pop ups and stuff
mm-hmm.
like that in the back. And then like we had a couple little catering things coming up. So anyway, so we kind of like hustle our way around it. You know what I mean? And then but really the whole focus at this point on was the restaurant, and that's how we ended up meeting our financial business partner, by doing like a private event for him. And then he's like, yo, bro, he's like, what? He's like, man, not only you guys are cool, you smoke pot, and on top of that, you know how to cook, motherfucker. He's like,
Yeah, exactly. You got
he's
all
like,
three. You got all three. We all
yeah,
good.
all three, man. He's like, yo, I'm in, man. I'm in. He's like, I'm in. He's like, yo, and you know how to grind and you can hustle. And mind you, this guy, he's like, he's big in the mortgage business.
Right.
That's the man, That's the man. Like that's the guy that gives you the final answer. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then so, he's like, what? And you guys know how to grind? Like, man, I'm dropping them back on you motherfuckers.
Right.
And so it's like, all right, cool, man. And then so from that point, so we kept popping up over there, doing the pop up or whatever. Eventually, we're like, all right, bro, before we get caught doing this shit, it's like, we better, come in straight, get our business in order.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, the deal of like purchasing the business, at that pop up spot, kind of like fell through.
Right.
And it was like from us, being a bunch of rookies, coming in, so just kind of like some like bad business, hot head decisions.
Right.
And then those guys too, man, I was like very like, unorganized, no discipline, kind of like, kind of like cutthroat, kind of, what I mean? And
Yeah.
like on some kind of like funny shit sometimes. And then of course, with the chair on the king was a fucking landlord,
Mm-hmm.
and these people is like, extremely wealthy, but doesn't want to spend a dime,
Right.
on anything, it's like everything. Oh no, y'all take care of this, y'all take care of that, y'all take care. I'm like, bro, it's not my job to take care of your roof.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
And then so at this point, I'm dealing, and I got a financial. So I'm in this weird ass position, because I'm dealing with like people I kind of know that kind of like let me come in and do things at the restaurant. Their business kind of, they basically put the, slow down their business, for us.
Right.
And then I'm finding myself with those landlords. Now the landlords, mind you, they used to come and eat at the restaurant all the time until it was time to talk about money. Then they'll be MIA, or they don't want to do shit, And then I got a savage, guy, who's like crazy in the financial, who knows about money, knows how to close deals, knows how to do all these things. And he's like, bro, that ain't it. Like, what I mean? Like, that ain't it. That ain't the spot. That ain't this, that ain't that. As a matter of fact, we're not doing business with people like that, And then so I'm like in this weird ass fucking position, man. And so, unfortunately, we had to shut down.
Right.
So that was like June 20, what is that? June 2021 at this point, So we like, shut down, and we have like 3-4 months to figure things out. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, bro, like let me try to be a diplomat right now, and see how I can get everybody on the same page to make this dream. Because one thing I'll tell you at this point, David, like we ain't going back, bro. We're not gonna put all this work, go through all this thing for me to just drop everything because everybody wants to be on their high horse. You know what I mean? And for me, to find myself, you know what I mean, working again for for the men's or whatever,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I get it. Like you can go back, but for me at that point, bro, I was like, yeah, that ain't it. That's if I say I'm done, that's me quitting.
Right.
And by the way, bro, I still got a trailer that I have to make fucking payments on every month.
Mm-hmm.
And then so anyway, so finally, man, so we got very patient, and we're trying to be very smart with like at this time, got a little bag, this little cushion, and then so it's like, all right, man, how do we, make sure this thing works or whatever? Until like one day, and that's like maybe August, maybe September-ish, 2021.
Right.
My business partner, the financial business partner, he comes and he gives me a call. And he's like, bro, so I was on my way home and I saw this little spot. And he's like, it's small, and he sent me a number, sent me a video, a picture. He's like, but do you think you can make it work? And I'm like, what? I'm like, bro, first off, at this point, I'll make anything work. Second, I'm like, yo, you see how big this thing is? That is every chef's dream, bro, to have a little corner joint, man, 15, 20 seats, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
then just
that's every
banging
chef's dream. You're right.
bomb ass food, bro. I'm like, that's every chef's dream, man. I'm like, what? I'm like, yo, Jerry, I'm in, bro. And he's like, all right, boy, so this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna call them, you're gonna make them an offer, you're gonna counter the offer, and you're gonna ask them how do they want to get paid. We're down to close the deal in 2 days. And I'm like, you serious? He's like, yo, bro, don't even negotiate. This is your last chance, Steph. Close the deal. I was like, okay. So I call these people, and I'm like, hey, so how much money you guys want for this? It's like, yo, I'm like, all right, I'll give you plus.
Right.
And they're like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, we're serious. How do you want to get paid? You want Bitcoin, Tesla shares, cash,
Yeah.
cashier's check? You know, how do you want to get paid? You know? And then they're like, whoa, like that's kind of like wild. And yeah, man. And it was like 20. You know, they're like, can we call you back? And like 20 minutes later, they call us back. They're like, all right, if you guys are serious, it's all yours.
Yeah.
And that's it, man. And that's how we ended up in that little spot that you see. That used to be, by the way, a Chili Joe's spot. It used to be a chili spot.
It's a beautiful
You
space,
know,
man.
yeah, man. No, it's a nice little space. You know, for 30 years, it was a French bistro at first. You know, the chef kind of like got on some funny stuff and got in trouble, you know, for some stuff, and then he kind of like
Right.
stepped out. And then there was this older couple, you know, that had some, you know, some money that came in from, I don't know, you know, from a family, you know, resource or whatever. And so they went in there, and then they, you know, they dropped the bag. But when they were looking at the space, funny enough, who else was looking at that same space? Come to find out, was Chef Rodney. You know, from Avery.
Wages.
Wages, yeah. Chef
Oh
Rodney Wages.
shit.
He was looking at, yeah. From you know, from like, yeah, he was looking at the spot for Avery. And
Unfortunately,
so,
that
and it
guy,
was,
I always hear him getting ripped up by who's the chef at Benu. There's always just stories of
mm,
whenever you hear of Rodney, it's always like he owned this, and then oh yeah, fucking Corey Lee used to terrorize him.
yeah.
You know, it's like Jesus fucking Christ, man. I don't want to be known as that. But
Yeah, man,
great chef,
that
great
was
chef.
crazy.
Good chef.
Great chef.
Yeah, I think
Very great chef.
Selassie Dotsie worked for him.
Okay, nice.
Over she's the CDC at High Felicia in Oakland.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
But
Okay,
how do you
cool.
feel about your neighborhood there? Like, is there a lot of foot traffic?
My
Like,
neighborhood is, yeah, man. So I mean, you know, like nowadays, bro. You know, honestly, bro. Like, I'll be honest. Like, I think that, you know, the landscape of, you know, restaurant marketing has changed. You know, I
right?
think now with like the social media and how, like, you know, everybody kind of like look us for a story. You know what I mean? I think that's really what works. You know, we had a story. You know, and then so, and I built a lot on that. You know, and so, and I'm in the position now, bro. Like, I've been fortunate enough to have some really, like, you know, smart and, you know, some intelligent people, you know, around that tells me that's like, bro, you have a story, man. Like, build on your story, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then so, and that's kind of like what I did, you know. So I did that, you know. I did the social media. By the way, I don't know if you follow us. Yeah, oh, yeah, of course you follow TC Provisions. Like,
Yeah.
I've always run the social media of the restaurant from day
Right.
one. Like, I've always done that. Like, you know, so like people would, you know, so we, you know, we would, like, you know, really go ham on social media and basically, like, you know, attract, you know, things to us.
Right.
Now, we are kind of like this, like, you know, we're like a block away from downtown Petaluma, you know,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of like, if you ask me, it's great. You know, I'm kind of like away from, like,
You're away
you
from
know,
the noise.
from the noise, you know, the
Yeah.
noise and kind of like the, you know, respectfully, but the old heads, you know. So I'm like in my little corner down there, you know, and so, and, you know, like I said, man, I just, you know, drive, you know, my, you know, the story, the marketing to the spot. And then
Right.
again, you know, if you're entering Petaluma from the first exit, we're like one of the first restaurant you'll see because we're literally across the street from this, you know, from Pinky's Pizza and Saks joint, which is
Uh huh.
one, you know, Saks is like, you know, these guys been here for like 30, 40 years now, you know, like they're really the OGs of like the, you know, breakfast and lunch and brunch, you know, type of spot. You know, it's like a 1950s type of like feel. And then so there's a lot of like usually a lot of biker boys, you know what I mean? And stuff like that
Yeah.
outside. They're always doing all kind of things. So I know, like, you know, one being neighbors with those guys kind of like, you know, kind of like might have kind of worked out for us also because they drive, you know, their own business. but also, again, man, it's just, through like, social media, man, and in Petaluma, like, I'm fortunate enough, I think I'm in a position now when you talk about, you're not gonna talk about food in Petaluma and not mention TCP,
Right, 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 right.
there's another guy that's down the street too, that's doing his thing, street social,
Mm-hmm.
and like, that's another spot, that, people, Black Chef,
Right.
and he's been, and even us, like, we've had like a little kind of like, staying, like indirectly from us, because like the spot that he has was one of the very first spot I've ever looked at, when I decided to kind of like, trying to do this thing on my own,
Right, right.
to basically like set up a restaurant. And when it came down to that spot that he had, is that he had money and I had no money. I had no money, no
Yeah.
credit. What did it say? The three C's was a cash, credit, and oh no. So there was three C's, right? It says cash, credit, and credentials,
Uh-huh.
right? I had credentials, but I had no cash, no credit.
I hear,
So,
I hear you
if
there.
you didn't have any of this thing, that doesn't credentials doesn't pay the bills. That was kind of
No.
like the model, And so, so those guys, ended up getting their spot, which was, and I was very happy for them, of course. And I didn't even know them, I was like, oh shit, okay, cool. I wish, best of luck to whoever get this little spot. And then, yeah, man, and then we just kept kind of like pushing. But it's to say that, at this point, yeah, like we bring, a type of traffic over, a lot of, and then we're a tasting house, we do tasting menus, and we do the social hour. But like, we're like the only spot in town to do a tasting menu,
Right.
and I think that, that's one. So we're like basically like driving this thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody, I'll tell you right now, bro, like, I don't know, maybe I'm shooting myself in the foot, but I think anybody now can come in Petaluma and feel confident enough that if they open a tasting house and then they're doing like great food and they're doing damage, like, they'll have, there's a niche for that,
Right.
and so yeah, so we're fortunate, man. Like, one of our biggest supporters, like, from the industry is like Single Thread, like, I guess like the entire single, I think it's only Chef Kyle and his wife that hasn't been to the restaurant. Other than
Really?
that, I think I've met everybody that work out.
They're
Yeah,
always
man.
going up there.
There's always, bro. There's always, like, just on Saturday, like on Friday, we had a two captain, a GM, and the director of operations of Sigurd being there. The next day, we had like two servers coming in. Maybe I had a month before, we had like Psalms and sous chefs, and and they all come down, and then so, and so people are coming from Hillsburg to the spot. People are coming from Sonoma. People are actually commuting from Marin up. Chef Ron Siegel, big fan of ours, and vice versa.
Right.
Yeah, when Michelin Madcap in Marin, and
Mm-hmm.
so this,
Mm-hmm.
Chef Ron, man, used to come out to the restaurant. We used to do brunch, and then so we used to do this like fried chicken and biscuit, and then this guy used to come all the time and eat. So like the day we decided to stop doing brunch, I get a phone call from a buddy of mine who used to work at Single Thread, and we used to work
Right.
for him. He's like, yeah, his name is Joey. He's like, yo, chef. Actually, I don't know if you remember when you came in, you did the social hour with your girl.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
guys
yeah.
did the social the board. So he's like the one that customized those things for us. So he's done a lot of things for, like, like any woodwork you said Single Thread, that's him. Troubadour, that's another one that he's very deeply involved in.
Right,
And
right.
so, yeah, man. So when we stopped doing brunch, I just remember this guy called me on a Sunday, and he's like, "Hey, Steph, I'm not sure what's going on, but I got Chef Ron Siegel on the line. Motherfucker's hella pissed because he shows up and then nobody's at the restaurant." He's like, "Yo,
That's
are you?"
funny.
Yeah, he's like, "Yo, are you just waking up out of bed or something?" I'm like, "Nah, bro. We literally just this is our first Sunday with no brunch. We just stopped brunch, and and then that was that, And so it's to say that a lot of so we get the Marin, Sonoma, Healdsburg, heavy, foot traffic, that comes to the restaurant. And then now also we've seen a lot of, like, San Francisco, San Jose, Richmond also, coming
Really?
up to the spot. Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, man. I think, I mean, honestly, bro, we're just back there doing work, we're just
Right,
doing
right,
what we
right,
do.
right.
We're not, I don't know, we're just running a business, and then however now it's kind of like, spreading out, to the Bay, it's a blessing for us, man. It's a blessing,
Yeah, man.
and nothing like, sky's the limit, to what we're doing.
It really is,
And so,
man. And I dug it all. The space, the tables, the plates, the fucking
yeah, man.
technique, the I mean, everything was amazing.
Thank you, thank
Yeah,
you.
and it was
And
cool.
mind you, a lot of those things, bro, is still like Chili Joe's, man. Like the kitchen. Like I just bought my first real piece of equipment for this kitchen, which is a
Right.
rational oven, and I'm about to do damage with that thing. But like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
Like, if
I
you
got,
thought you got me
I,
before.
oh, bro, I'm telling you, man, I got a badass pastry chef from
Yeah.
France now. Part of the team.
Oh, really?
I'm attracting some. Oh yeah, bro, yeah, man,
You
I'm
got some
attracting some
talent coming
serious.
in?
Bro, I got some serious. I'm attracting some serious cooks, right now, like
Yeah,
or chefs,
yeah.
I'll just everybody in the kitchen. Like in the kitchen, everybody are chefs. Everybody are just
Mhm,
everybody are
mhm.
chefs. That's the thing that I learned in Copenhagen. That's one of the things I admired the most. It's like, hey, chef. When I work in Copenhagen, you're the executive chef calling me chef. That shit threw me off. I was like, whoa, what? I was like, is this guy mocking me?
Yeah.
Because again, man, like before that I was in Paris. I don't deal like that in Paris, bro. In Paris, it's just giving you the business.
Right, right, right. All day
Chef in
long.
Copenhagen, it's like all day long,
Yeah.
bro. Like, I mean, bro, yo, I don't know.
Yeah.
They talk about harassment. I'm like, bro, boy, man, you guys haven't seen a kitchen in Paris, bro. Like,
Yeah.
so when oh my God, bro. So when I showed up in Copenhagen and steps, I was like, whoa, what? And that's how everybody addressed, and that's one of the things that I always kept with me, And so ever since I moved back to the States, bro, cooks, whatever, everybody's addressed as chefs, So it's to say that I'm attracting some serious like chefs, come in
Right.
and work at the restaurant, and like I said, man, I just bought my first real piece of equipment. Everything else was all things I had with like Chili Joe's. Like this spot, bro, like my man
Yeah.
bought the restaurant, but we had to hustle our way to bring the restaurant to where it needed to be, And I did that on a budget of like
Yeah.
$8,000 that I didn't even have, bro.
Isn't that crazy?
Like
Like,
imagine,
you could
I'm
have
telling you, man.
the most expensive shit, and if your
Mhm.
cooks, if you don't know how to cook, it's no worth nothing. So
Nothing,
it's like
absolutely nothing.
you did a beautiful cuisine on Chili Joe's equipment.
Yep,
And
yep.
you know what I mean? People get Chili Joe's equipment and make some horse shit cuisine.
I mean, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, bro. That's the $1,200 Imperial. You don't
Yeah.
know. One day the left side is hotter than the right side.
Cooking by numbers.
Come on, bro. We're still
Yeah.
doing like we're doing like shoes, pack of shoes and those things, and usually, the friends would be like, oh yeah, don't open the oven, always gotta, man. I ain't got no fucking, see-through mirror to the Imperial.
Right,
I
right,
need to
right.
check the shoes, make sure this thing rises right,
Yep.
And so, and yeah, man, we did it, bro. We did with what we had, and we've always been very fortunate, and I think, that's one of the, those are great exercises, of like, knowing people, with, smart people, like not just like wealth, what I mean, but people that knows that, they're like, yo, bro, like this thing ain't easy, bro. Like, like this is the part they don't tell you in school,
Yeah.
and then so it's for you to go figure this thing out, and then so my man was like, yo, like I got your restaurant, B, like, you know, I'll get you a boat to go fish, but I can't really show you fish. You know what I mean? I can show you
Right,
how to
right,
fish,
right.
but I can catch the fish for you. That was kind of like, the mentality. And I was like, all right, bro, I'll take that,
You know?
And I was like, you're right, man. You got me the fishing pole. I ain't gonna trip, man. I got nothing else to ask you, my friend. All right, let me go get this fish now. Let me go get me a little shark if I can, bro. Like, like fuck it. And so yeah, man. And so that's what we did, And then so we did that for a good year, bro. We grinded out. We went from a la carte. We were doing a la carte at first. We switched to the tasting menu. The tasting menu was very much profitable,
Mhm.
and then now we're looking at like taking our first little vacation. First 2 weeks of April. The first vacation from day one. So we shut it down for about 10 days. Get our mind right.
Hell yeah,
And doing
man.
some little renovation. I got my buddy coming on board now. He's like kind of like doing all the tables and getting some new chairs. So now we're kind of like switching up the joint a little bit.
Right.
And so, yeah, man, that's just the first leg of, investment that, that we're doing, and then see, and then just let the grind continue.
Dude, man, I'm so happy for you, man. You're truly
Thank you, my
doing
friend.
what all of us dream of,
Mm.
and what is possible too. Just put a little bit of hard
Mhm.
work, you can do the same, you
Yeah,
know.
man.
Fuck yeah.
And yeah, man. I don't know if you guys listen to Larry June, but like Larry June says something. I mean, to take no for an answer.
That's
I
right.
mean, like, never take that word no, man. I tell people that all the time, man. Someone tells me no, I look at it, I see your next opportunity. That's
Right,
what that
right.
means for me. So you look to the next thing. So, all right, bro, it's all good. I'm gonna go figure this thing out. I got
Exactly.
it. If it's gonna take me a week, I guess it'll take me 3 weeks. But
If they
hey,
say no, they don't know any better. It's all good.
yeah, exactly.
You
It's
know?
all good. It's all good. We're gonna
Yeah.
go and do it. And so yeah, man. And so here we are, man. So like I said, we're blessed. We feel blessed. We're doing what we do. We're doing what we love. It's just not work. I tell everybody that comes to the restaurant and works for us, I say, bro, this needs to be a lifestyle, man. I'm like, yo, what do you like? What are you into? I got chefs that are into foraging. I'm like, okay, shit, bro, I'll blow a little bag on you just to forage. That's what you like? Yo,
Right.
go forage, man. Bring some stuff, man. Do the things that you like. Don't
Right.
just come here and then like put your head down and say we chef and then nah, bro, I'm not that. I don't care for that. I can. We can literally shut this thing down and then just put it just the two of us.
Mhm.
That's not what we're looking for. We just like, that's our mentality. It's a lifestyle. It's like, what are you good at? And then whatever you're good at, please, be kind and bring it to the table. Help us be better. Share it and stuff. And so, and I think by doing that, we kind of like create, a very, nice, decent environment. Of course, every now and then you run to kind of like some knuckleheads and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
whatever. Some of the, that's part of the game. But like, but for the most part, man, like, I don't think there's much, people that can walk in there and be like, oh, nah, these guys, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what, I mean? You ain't gonna hear it.
Yeah.
I doubt that, just because, again, it's how, we wake up every day, man, smile on our face. I'm in there, baby. Like, I'm in there from 10 a.m. to midnight, man. I cook. Steven cooks. They take the trash out. We do the mop. I mean, we have a dishwasher, bro. The dishwasher doesn't even do the mopping at the end of the shift. We do.
Right. Just
And
send them
so,
home.
and I mean, I say we do. That's
Yeah.
us. Like, that's literally, Steven,
That's
I,
how you make a
down to
business
you.
successful.
Absolutely,
You
man.
know?
Everybody gets dirty.
Yeah, you got to get dirty. That's why most restaurants,
Mhm.
fail cuz not everyone is
Mhm.
willing to do
Mhm.
everything, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
There can be a bunch of other factors, but at the end of the day, if the motherfuckers that own it are doing all the work and not paying themselves hourly, it might just survive. You
Exactly,
might
bro.
just
That
have to
that
do
is
that
a
shit for like
fact.
5 years, but whatever, bro. You know?
That's a fact, B. That's a fact, man.
You know?
That's a fact. My check pays the rent. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Like
That's it. My check pays the rent.
yeah. Your reward, your payment is having people that want to come work for you and people that want to come eat there. And that is
Absolutely.
enough.
Absolutely.
And as long as
Absolutely.
your family good,
And that's
then
enough, man.
yeah.
Yeah, family's good. That's what I'm saying. My
Hmm.
wife runs. That's the heart of business. That's who runs the papers. That's who runs the thing. Of course, she get her bag. And
Right,
then so
right.
'cause she is an employee.
Right,
And
right,
to be
right.
treated like that.
Got to,
And I said,
got
nah,
to.
girl. Yo, get your salary every two
Right.
weeks. This is non-negotiable. You know what I mean? And as far as I'm concerned, I'm like, yo, babe, I just need to pay the rent. Is that okay with you? I just need about 5 years. Let me get this thing right, and I'll
Right,
catch
right,
up with
right.
everything else. And then there's this understanding between all of us, and something for Steven, it's like, yo, make sure your rent is paid, you're hungry, shit, just sit at the restaurant, bro. You need that CP.
Right, right.
you know, throw
Yo.
it in the order, man. Throw that shit in the order, man. Like, fuck
Yeah.
it, like, hey, man, this is grind time, this is survival mode, man. Like, hey, what else do you need, right? You got a roof, you got food, and you got a place to hang out. You can have as much beers as you want, man. Like,
Yeah.
what
There's
else you want?
there's nothing else past that. Once you get all the
Exactly,
essentials, you're good. Don't need
exactly,
nothing
man,
else.
exactly.
Dude, well, I want to thank you for calling into the show. I really
Absolutely,
appreciate
man.
you being honest, sharing your story. And
Thank you.
when I get back up to the Bay, I'll come up to the restaurant and have you on the show as well as Steven.
Yes,
Sure to
yes,
showcase your
sir.
team a little bit, the spot, and come in there and eat some more food.
Yes, sir. Please do, please do. We appreciate you, man. I love what you're doing. I'm trying to get on there every Monday night.
Thank you, bro. I really appreciate it. Man, I think, we just need something for us, man.
Yeah,
We
man,
don't
for
got
sure,
nothing for
man.
us.
Absolutely,
And
man.
we're a big,
Absolutely.
big, big community, and a lot
Yeah,
of
man.
people, when you start something, they always say, well, they might not like that. And it's like, well, it's
Mhm.
not for that person.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
I'm
That's
making for
that.
the people that like it. Whoever doesn't like it
Absolutely.
can listen to another podcast. You can go to another restaurant. It's all good. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely,
So,
man. It's not for everybody, man. That's just, that's just that, and not, I don't know. Not everybody likes creme brulee. The guy that tells you he doesn't like creme brulee, you might look at him crazy. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Okay. But hey, if he doesn't like creme brulee, he doesn't like creme brulee, bro.
It's all
Like,
good. Yeah. He
it's all
probably likes
good, man.
chocolate mousse. You know?
Exactly. Get him a Twinkie, man. He'll be
Exactly.
fine.
Get him some chocolate, man. Jesus. But all right, man. Peace out.
All right.
Have a great
Thank
night.
you.
And
Thank you. Same to you.
yeah, for sure. Blessings to your family and your restaurant and everything like that. And I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, brother. Much love.
Alrighty. You too. Peace.
Peace out. Man, that was Stefan, TCP, Table Culture Provisions out in Petaluma. I met him when he came to stage at the restaurant in Meadowood when he was the chef at Della Fattoria, which is a sourdough institution in the Bay Area. Okay, so this guy is tenured. He's worked in France. He's worked baking bread. He's fucking owning his own restaurant right now. Table Culture Provisions. Check it out. It's on Instagram. TC Provisions. TC Provisions on Instagram. Go ahead, give them a follow and check him out. He's in Petaluma. He's doing good things. You know, if restaurant people are going to his restaurant, that he's got good shit going on. All right. Thank you for tuning in to Sucio Talk. I'll keep these things at about an hour, so I'm going to sign off right now. Have a good week. I love you all. Thank you for listening. Everything's going to be okay, even though it doesn't seem like it is. We'll be okay. All right. Peace out.